Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Liz, and I'm going vegan while doing things a little extra each time. Today, I've got a very chill what I eat in a day video for you, and it's specifically for when I don't have vegetables on hand. So I'm just starting my day with a little yoga. I've been really enjoying Yoga with Adrienne's new breath series, and I do that before work. And so then around 9, when work starts, I sneak in a quick breakfast. Sometimes I will just have a protein bar, but when I really want something like warming, especially like in these winter months, then I will go ahead and make something. So I'm going to be making a just egg, and I'm heating up a little oil in my pan because that is the key, my friends. Does it taste much better when you use butter? Yes, absolutely. But it just doesn't, it just gets too dry for my taste. And I don't want my egg overcooked. I never liked it even before being vegan, like overcooked eggs. Ew. And you're gonna see, I don't scramble this. I just put salt and pepper, let it chill in the pan on like a medium-low heat. And then when it starts to get bubbly like that, then I know I can take my spatula and start to roll it. And I typically will turn this into an omelet. Today I'm just doing a regular folded egg. But just look at that. Look how gorgeous. It's not browned, it's not crispy, crunchy. I hate that. I'll just kind of do like a fold over, let it chill, and then repeat until I feel like it's done. I know a lot of people like to scramble the just egg when it's in the pan. I just find that it gets way too tough and just not good. But hey, maybe people like their eggs like that. No judging. So while my eggs just kind of like sitting off to the side, I am just going to load up my plate with some fruit. That's one thing I've been at least trying to always have on hand, but then occasionally I slip with the vegetables. So yeah, I had fruit today though. So starting off with some pineapple and some blueberries, always good. And then I'm just gonna plate up my egg. And I cannot start my day without coffee. Lately, I've been reaching for decaf. If you've seen any of my previous videos testing Ticino, you would know that I struggle with anxiety, so I try to reduce my caffeine intake. So yeah, just starting with some decaf coffee. I've also really been loving this So Delicious oat milk creamer. It's delicious. I was like team nut pods for the longest time, but I mean, you're gonna see when I stir this, like magic. It's thick like half and half, lasts longer than a week, like it's perfect. So yeah, and then I, have a bad habit of not taking the time for breakfast before work, so I will typically be eating my breakfast in front of my computer because the workday's already started. And I don't know about you guys, but my day is just tons of meetings, like meeting after meeting. So I'm lucky when I can catch a meal in between all of them. Today was a lucky day, which is why I was able to share with you guys. After breakfast, then I had time to prep lunch. Let me stress how often that is not possible. It's very rare, but I knew I didn't have a meeting till later, so I kind of snuck in some time for myself. And if you follow me on Instagram, you would know that I've been loving my new crazy Korean cooking pot that I got for Christmas. It's just so wonderful to finally have a pot that gets hot enough, stays hot, and serves my Korean food properly. So I've been obsessed with bibimbap for like 2 weeks straight now. So that is what I'm making again for lunch. I start by prepping a lot of tofu and just making it crispy. I throw on some salt, some garlic powder, and then some soy sauce. And I get that all tossed. It's just so simple. Like you can see here, I just like prep a whole big batch because one of the things about bibimbap is like it's not a lot of cooking. It's just a lot of assembly. So if you can get that part prepped, then lunch, getting your lunch together is so quick. So here's my little pot. I put in some neutral oil and then I'm putting in some sesame oil. And then, I'm crazy and grab a semi-hot pot and I turn it so that the oil coats the bottom, because one of the main joys of bibimbap, at least for me, is the crispy rice at the bottom. And I've never been able to achieve this until I had this pot. So if you really want that, awesome experience, highly recommend investing in one of these pots. But it's just so good. And I had some pre-made rice. So again, I try to help myself out as much as possible since I know my work days are kind of crazy. And then I just spread the rice at the bottom. I like it evenly coated at the bottom so that I get as much, surface area for that crispiness as possible. And then I just kind of let it do its thing. Anywhere from like medium high to just like medium heat, depending on how much time I've got. And then while that's happening, I assemble. So I'm putting in my tofu first. And then I'm throwing in some cucumbers with onions. And you can even see I didn't even have green onions left. I just had regular white onions. It's still delicious, but that is like how low I was on vegetables. I had nothing, getting by with the bare minimum. But I really love cucumber in bibimbap. I just love that warming aspect of everything else, but then that one little crunchy cold punch in there. So I try to add those at the last second. Same with some bean sprouts. Totally underrated, but I just love them for their cooling crunch. And then I'm adding a hefty couple of spoonfuls here of kimchi. It's been a real struggle finding a vegan brand that's good, which is awful to say, but they're just not spicy enough and they're just not seasoned well half the time. So I don't really have a brand to recommend right now. But yeah, then I'm just adding some of this bibimbap sauce. Typically you don't even need one of these fancy sauces, but since I haven't been able to get to the Asian Mart, I just had this on hand, but you could totally just use gochujang here. And I add a lot because I want this spicy. So yeah, the fun then is, you assemble it all prettily and then you just mix it. And it just becomes this great hot pot of rice and toppings. And I don't know if you can really tell from me stirring here, but this pot is also so good because even though you get the crispy rice bottom, it doesn't stick. Ugh, the pleasures, the little things. Now, I only really got to film myself taking one bite of this because I had a meeting happen, but you're going to see, yes, I finished the entire thing. Now, after work, I was just kind of like, I really don't like these kind of carb-heavy days, so I'm kind of cheating here. You're going to see this is a little weird mishmash of a dinner. But I'm just starting with some English muffins, spelt English muffins. I'm gonna get those toasted. And I have a habit of not wanting things overly toasted, so I stopped the toaster ahead of time. Is that just me? And then, yeah, the one thing I did have sitting around were these gorgeous tomatoes. And it just sounded so good. I was like, yes, I guess because I haven't had any other vegetables left that this just sounded so good. So it's been, since childhood, like one of my fave things is a tomato and mayo sandwich. Don't know if that sounds gross to any of you, but I grew up in Jersey and we have like the best, like Jersey tomatoes are just, chef's kiss, like just so sweet and juicy and perfect. You don't need anything. I just put some salt and pepper. Then I'm putting down some mayo, and then I'm going to be putting these tomatoes on there, and it's going to be so good. I am adding, you're going to see, I'm adding cheese to this. Typically, I would prefer to add like a mozzarella or something, more like a white style of cheese. But all I had were these Whole Foods vegan cheddar slices, so that's what I decided to use. Now I just layered it, went a little ridiculous because I wanted a lot of tomato, and then I just squished it all down. Call me crazy, but it was so good. And then I have this horrible habit of standing upright while I eat instead of going to sit down. Again, is that just me? Anybody else? Can you relate? It's just a habit I can't break. I keep trying, but it's just so easy to be right there. So I realized quickly that I didn't have enough protein. So I'd recently gotten these nugs at Whole Foods, and I have a taste test highlight on my stories on Instagram if you want to go see that. These smell and look amazing, and then their taste kind of leaves a lot to be desired. You're going to see the insides here. It looks just like any other vegan nugget. It's convincing, looks good. But then it's just so dry. It doesn't matter how I try it, whether it's in the oven, air fryer. They're just always so dry and pretty much flavorless. It's really weird how the coating smells so good and gives that color, and then it just doesn't taste like anything. So they're kind of a bummer. I just eat them on these kind of off times so that I can get some protein in quick. And I just ate them with some barbecue sauce and called it a day, really. If I can't get my vegetables, it's at least important to me to get in some protein, especially with so many carbs. And then I was bad and decided I wanted some actual caffeine, which was not typical for me and not a good decision this late at night as someone who is trying to cut back on their caffeine. But yeah, I've been enjoying cold brew. I have this whole cold brew box on tap. Yeah, It's amazing, but it just feeds my coffee addiction and it's really hard to resist. So, yeah, I've been enjoying some cold foam cold brews. And so that's what I decided to end my day with. Isn't it just gorgeous? It's mesmerizing. But yeah, guys, that's what I ate in a day. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you have any requests for what you want me to make or what you want to see me make, let me know down in the comments below, and I will see you all next time.